Hello, and welcome to The Silver Lining, the weekly geekly talk show where we discuss whatever geeky topics we feel like talking about, but normally stuff that's happened through the week. I am your host, Uncle Silver, a.k.a. Silver Greg, a.k.a. Greg, whatever you feel like calling me, and welcome to you, my co-host, The Chat. I always love having you guys here to talk about some of this stuff with, because there's usually something to discuss. Even most of the time when I kind of think like, I don't know, is this discussion worthy? But then you guys always help flesh it out into a real discussion. I think that's why I strayed away from. I still do them every once in a while, but I strayed away from the making like the essay videos and stuff, like where I basically just talk about a
your
topic.
Ideas are intriguing to me. And
Mike Cobella, thank you so much for the early follow. I saw that it was your first time here, so welcome. Thank you for being part of the conversation. But yeah, I got away from that just because I think about topics and they don't seem suave. Rating with a party of five. It is a busy day. Busy day. Welcome to everybody who came here from Suave's stream, including Suave themselves. Oh, and the stream is taking a dip. There we go. The stream is taking a dip. Okay, but we're back. It didn't disconnect or anything. But yeah, I like having you guys here because it's much more interesting to be here with you discussing something rather than just talking about something. I think that's what makes some discussions more interesting. But hello, Mike Cobella. Again, thank you for the follow. R-Wing, Elements, Wonderbread, Aqua, Dragon Knight, Ace Fox, Sean Cragg, bruh. Rye, what's going on? Hello, Rye. Everybody from Suave Stream, who's at Reform, Marka Bro. Yeah, I guess I just say Mark all the time. Bro, we'll talk about that during the viewer topics portion of the show. For you guys that are new here, this is Mike mostly seems to be the newest person here. We do some topics and then we do a little bit of viewer discussion. So if you have any questions later on you want to discuss with that, we go about 2 hours here, depending on what there is to talk about. Cucked by a giant toad. Do I even want to know what you were playing, Suave? But welcome everybody. I hope you had a good week. I hope your week was interesting. It was a sort of interesting week here. I mean, for me, it was just sort of an average week, nothing too special. But we got a couple with it. I smell like cleanliness and cologne. But yeah, it was, we got a couple of times. I have topics this week every time. I swear I get to like 5 minutes before the show before I decide what it is that we want to talk about. Japanese Dark Souls. Oh, Neo, yeah, Neo. Yeah, Neo. Yeah, that does. I've seen stuff about that game, but never actually played through it myself. The weeb version of Dark Souls. All right. I think I want to jump right into week was all right. Got over my cold and got a free coffee maker. Standard coffee maker, or is it like a Keurig? We got a free Keurig. We kept going back and forth on whether or not we wanted to buy one, and then we eventually got a free one from somebody. They moved and they didn't want to take a whole bunch of stuff with them. Like they were scaling down all of their stuff, so they gave us their Keurig, and we bought a couple boxes of the Keurig cups, and I think we're both at the point where there it sits, because I use it for hot water by the cup for like hot cocoa. And then Ninja coffee bar. Ooh, Ninja. Ninjas don't actually use karate. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. I posted about my special day above. Let's see what you posted there. Right, hold on. I had free ice cream. Woo, free ice cream. And seafood. Oh, that's right. Is that your birthday today? Happy birthday. Well, even if it's not your birthday today, happy birthday. I had an exam week, so my week, I gonna guess, was full of nerves. I'm trying to squeeze all my last minute energy to memorize everything. Of course. Cramming right at the end is sometimes the best way, especially for me because the information is still fresh. This week was okay, though. I got some bad news. Talk about that later, though. Tuesday was over. That's right. I think you were here for that. I think you stopped in while we were playing some Vandal Hearts. All right, I want to get into this first topic. I have no idea where this discussion is going to go, where this first one is going to go. But I mean, we never know where any of these topics are going to go. The Diablo Immortal, for anybody that has never played Diablo, Diablo is. I didn't play Diablo 1 and 2. I played. Oh, you weren't here. Okay, Rye, you emanate such a glow, Rye, that even when you're not here, you're still kind of here. You know what I mean? Diablo is I played Diablo 3. I didn't play Diablo 1 and 2 because I didn't like I normally don't like the isometric overhead view games. I watched somebody play Diablo 2 once, and it just was not my cup of tea. So I wasn't really caring about it. And then when Diablo 3 came out, I got Diablo 3 for free when I prepaid a year of the Mists of Pandaria expansion for World of Warcraft. Your hair looks there. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I had it straightened. Well, Beth straightened it. Isn't Diablo Satan clone? I'm not familiar with this Satan person. So I played it and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. But then when I canceled WoW, I also lost Diablo 3. So I haven't played it. So I didn't play any of the expansions or anything. But I thought it was awesome. But that game, Diablo 2 came out, I want to say turn of the century. I want to say like 2000. You know what I mean? It was early. So it came out then, and then Diablo 3 came out. What was Mists? 2012, 2011, somewhere around there. It came out around there. So that's a giant gap between games. And then from 2011, 2012, whenever Diablo 3 was, up until now, is not an overwhelming gap, but definitely a long gap. As a Metroid fan, I know what it's like to wait a long time for a quality game. So people, it was probably early 2010. Yeah, it had to be something like that. So people they go to BlizzCon, they buy their tickets, which are, from my understanding, a little expensive. But they fly out there from all over the world to go to BlizzCon, and you want to hear these big announcements, so they go and they sit, and here it comes, Diablo 4. They're talking about Diablo, they're talking about new stuff. Here it comes, Diablo 4. And it's not Diablo 4, it's Diablo Immortal. It looks like Diablo's a PC game. It was on console, and Diablo 3 has been on PS3 and Xbox 360, and it just came out on the Switch. Diablo 3 just came out on the Switch last Friday, like days ago. So instead you get Diablo Immortal, and people are immediately up in arms. Admittedly, taking it a little too far, to the point where it's very familiar for me. Again, as a Metroid fan, this is all feeling, if anybody has been following this is all feeling extremely familiar with me. Metroid Prime Federation Force is when this happened to us Metroid fans. There's a petition out to cancel the game. There are people whining about how this is crap. There is the sense that it's unfair to them. An expected reaction, but absolutely an overreaction. Definitely. Also probably jumping the gun here, but even if they did a teaser image for Diablo 4, it would have been different. Yeah, Elements, that was one of the points that I was going to get into. I'm curious about Diablo Immortal, and I definitely think the fans were acting very childish at BlizzCon, though maybe the assault wouldn't have happened if Blizzard didn't put it at the end of the con. Well, they didn't put it at the end of the con. They put it at the end of the opening ceremonies, I think. I think someone can correct me on that. For all I know, they did put it at the end of the convention, which would have made it significantly worse. Diablo 1 was on the PC and PS1. Oh, there was Diablo on the PS1. That's right. Diablo 2 was PC exclusive. Diablo 3 is on most consoles. Yeah. Command and Conquer fans had the same thing, but I remember the backlash for Metroid Prime Federation Force feeling exactly the same, and you had to expect, Blizzard had to expect a negative reaction. You had to expect the video game community is not new. This behavior is not new. There can't possibly be high-ups in Blizzard sitting in a boardroom going, wow, we didn't expect that they would be this angry. Of course you can expect video gamers to be this angry. Of course you can expect starved video gamers. Well, I use starved, but we'll get into that one too, because that's actually not true. You got to expect a negative reaction. We've talked on this channel before about mobile gaming and how, for companies, from a business standpoint, the malnourished, from a business standpoint, mobile gaming is viable for them. This is a video game platform with a massive install base. I mean, you guys have phones, right? If you haven't been following, that was a major line. That was a very big kind of slap in the face to people, to say that. People were angry, and they actually said that to people. They actually said that to people, like when people were booing and stuff. They said, "Don't you have phones?" Which is a defensive, and that's really the best defense is a good offense is not actually true. They should not have gone on the attack like that. I know that they were being attacked, but as a company, it was probably not the best thing to say to the other people. From a business standpoint, though, mobile gaming is a viable option just because the install base is so high. You know, even if you only sell to 10% of the install base, that's 10% of what? 1 billion people? You're gonna make something off of that. So from a business money-making standpoint, it's viable. At the same time, you do need to watch out who your fans are. These are not just video game fans. These are not just PC game fans. These are video game and PC fans who have not had their fix for this genre of game in a while. That's why I don't like to say they were hungry for the game. They were starving or malnourished, as somebody put it. I don't like to say that, because if this was 1985, if this was, you know what I mean? If we got Super Mario Brothers, well, that was like 84, 83, or 86. If we got Super Mario Brothers, and then it was 9 years before we got Mario 2, we would say, hey, oh man, we haven't had anything like this in 9 years. You know, where is it? We need it. We're hungry. We're starving for it. Because back then the market was so thin. When Metroid had its giant gap, it's not like we had nothing to play. You know, okay, yeah, there's a huge gap between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. There's a huge gap between, or not as big a gap, but there's a big gap between Diablo 3 and whatever the next Diablo game is. But it's not like you're sitting at home twiddling your thumbs until the next Diablo game comes along. You got plenty of games to play. This market has... The market right now has more games in it than you can probably ever play in your life. If you only played games that came out in 2017 and 2018, you would probably reach old age, maybe even die before you finish them all. more games have come out than it's an unprecedented number. You've got stuff to play. Yes, obviously, if you're a Diablo fan, you probably don't like playing Barbie games. But actually, maybe you do like playing Barbie games. You've never tried them. But you're not starving. That's like saying you love pizza. You haven't had pizza in a month, so you're going hungry. I'm gonna go ahead and guess you've eaten a lot in the last month. You just haven't had pizza. Enjoy the food that you have, and when Diablo 4 comes out, you'll get it. Hey, buddy, you'll get it. If it was 1985, we wouldn't be watching it. Sure, you would. Do you guys have phones? Booze intensifies. I actually like playing on mobile a lot. I play PUBG on mobile. Yeah, I know, Mike. I know some people play Fortnite on mobile. It's not the most conducive, but it's not. It probably doesn't seem like the easiest thing to do, but it is possible. And let's not forget that mobile game. Yeah. What about the games that fill the gap by being the game in spirit? Yeah. Well, a lot of people will feel like that's just cheating or that it's just cheap versions of the game, but they should still help fill the gap. Let's not forget that mobile gaming in a lot of international markets is huge, bigger than, say, North America. Yeah, Mike, I know that in Japan it's a big thing, specifically because Japan is such a travel-centered region. There's a lot of demand for mobile games, like a lot of demand for mobile games, handheld games. The Switch over there has almost outsold the PS4. Like in the year and a half that it's been out, the Switch has almost outsold the PS4's lifetime sales, because any kind of handheld mobile gaming is spectacular for them. We love it here too. Let's be honest, we love it here too. It's just we have some ravenous fans over here, but the fans are not starved. The fans are not starved. The people are just being babies. And let's be honest here. We know the same thing. This happens every time. It is probably not the majority of fans. For the most part, it is always a small subset of babies that scream the loudest. Most people are probably thinking, "Oh well, I'm not gonna, like, if you don't want to play it, you're not gonna play it." But most of them are probably thinking, "Oh, I think I'll just pass on this one." All right, that's fine. But then there's that subset of people who they need to scream to the mountaintops. And admittedly, some of it might have been a knee-jerk reaction, probably brought on by knee-jerks. Japan and China are the largest markets for mobile gaming. Absolutely. It's more like teasing someone with a steak and then giving out a carrot and saying, I never promised you a steak. It's still food. And here's the problem. I like that analogy, Dragon Knight, because here's the issue. And this is the same thing that happened, and this is another reason that I think this is very much like when Metroid Prime Federation Force happened. That carrot would have gone down a lot easier if you had showed us that there was a stake on the way. If you would have showed us Federation Force, if you would have showed us Metroid Prime Federation Force, and we said, oh, and then immediately after you said, now that's what the Federation Force is doing. Let's talk about what Samus is doing. And then showed us the screen for Metroid Prime 4. We would have lost our minds. We would have been much happier with Federation Force knowing that this is not their offering this is not their only offering into the Metroid series. If anything, I imagine that the first thought that anybody would have had was, oh, okay, so I keep saying it. Federation Force is tying into Metroid Prime 4. Now I want to play Federation Force to see where Metroid Prime is going to be going. That would have been the thought. The problem there is you gave us just that. If you would have said, we have Diablo Immortal, we have this handheld game, and the handheld game is going to cover Fetroid, Federation Morse. If you would have said, we have Diablo Immortal, it's going to be a mobile game, hold on, because they of course, at that point, everybody would have started booing. It is a mobile game that is going to focus on the adventure of this particular character. And the reason we did it that way is because we wanted to give you a chance to figure out what's going on with this character before they show up in Diablo 4. People would have exploded. People would have loved it. They would have loved the announcement for Diablo 4. It definitely would have been the highlight. But now they would have looked at Diablo Immortal and said, oh, it's like a tie-in. We can see what's going to happen. They would have been dramatically more interested. There's a good way to do something and a bad way to do something. And making an announcement like that, where when you know, people are waiting for people are waiting for that steak. You ordered the steak 40 minutes ago. They're waiting for that steak. For you to then come out and only have a carrot does feel like an insult. Does feel like a slap in the face. It seems so deliberate. Like I said, there's no way you could have done this and thought, I can't imagine that they're going to react negatively. You knew blatantly that they were going to react negatively, and you didn't anyway. It was almost, you did it on purpose. Yeah, the starter before the main course. Exactly. This is like the Pokemon fan. Ace Trainer, absolutely. The Pokemon fan base, and Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Oh, well, this isn't the game. We thought we were going to get this. No one said you're not getting a mainline Pokemon game. No one said they announced before that you're getting a mainline Pokemon game on the Switch. You're mad about Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu as if that's the game you were promised. That's even worse because they did say you're getting the steak. They actually have said before Pokemon Let's Go that you're getting a mainline Pokemon game. Everybody just seemed to listen to it and said, oh my god, this is it. This is terrible. Pokemon's dead. What are you talking about? This is a side game like it's always been. Could you imagine being up in arms when those Pokemon Rangers and Pokemon Explorers game, when they all came out, thinking, oh well, Pokemon's dead now? No, they were obviously side games. They were always obviously side games. Damn it. I spilled coffee on myself. Oh yeah, I have to have some coffee. Oh. I took a nap earlier and I set my alarm to wake up, but I had some stuff playing on YouTube. I like to sleep with some noise. It was raining outside. Well, it is raining outside. It was so calm and peaceful, and I was warm and under the blanket and everything. Man, I almost canceled the show. Oh no, moderation force. Oh, I do like moderation force. Also, Silver, how could you not have an opinion? Yeah. Honestly, I don't have an issue with it either, this or Federation, but I agree. It could have been this will tide you over. Gen 8. No, I can't wait for Let's Go Eevee. I'm going to have to wait. I have to pick and choose what games I buy because I'm saving up for that monitor. So I have to pick and choose what games I buy, and Smash Brothers is the next purchase for me. Pokemon Cosmos and Nebula. No, Elite Pokemon. No, Elite Pokemon is dead. Don't you know? Nuts and Bolts. People were waiting for years for that. For a new Banjo-Kazooie game. And Nuts and Bolts came out and people were upset. It was a good game, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't the game people wanted from that series. The problem is that some folks feel entitled to have their expectations fulfilled and get very angry. Yeah, I think some people... I think there is a little bit of entitlement there. I think there is some entitlement, but I think more commonly, and I have been guilty of this, I think more commonly, and it's not an excuse, it's just the reason. People, they build it up in their minds, and the more time you give them to build it up, the bigger they build it up. They build it up with their own ideas. They build it up with what the game could have. They look at the technology from the last game and the current technology. Hey, Mert. And the current technology, and they say, oh my God, it could look like this. It could play like this. It could have these features. And then the game comes out and it falls short of their expectations. and they feel disappointed because what they get from what they see is completely different. It's not an okay thing, but it is kind of an expected thing. There's fault. Yeah, there's fault on both sides. That's why we'll never get Half-Life 3. I didn't even play Half-Life, and I want Half-Life 3 to come out just because I feel bad for Half-Life fans. Again, as a Metro, when this all sounds 100% ridiculous. Until you are a fan of a franchise that goes through this kind of drought, then you kind of understand a little bit. Again, it is never justified. I'll never look at this Diablo fan base that's making all this noise and say, yeah, you know, they have a point. You know, I'll never do that. But you won't, if you've never had to deal with it, having to deal with it through Metroid, knowing that the Half-Life people have to deal with it. I see the F-Zero people dealing with it sometimes. It doesn't seem like to a greater extent, but I see it and it's like, you may not be justified, but I can understand where the frustration is coming from. He's more like a mature child, and we're all younger children. No, Reform. I like to think I am what I like to think I am what adults are supposed to be. I am the adult I try to be. I try to be the adult you promised yourself you would be when you were a kid. This is going in a weird place now. I try to be that person because I think about all those times when I was a kid and I said, when I'm adult, I'm going to do this, and when I'm adult, I'm going to do that. And then you become an adult and you get a job and you have all these responsibilities and you never really do those things. So I try to be that adult as much as I can. You know, that's why I used to say as a kid, when I'm an adult, I can spend my money on video games. So as long as I get all my bills paid, I try to spend my money on video games because it's still fun for me. I think as gamers, we need to realize we won't always get what we like to see. And at the same time, what the developers think would be good for a game won't always be what we, the gamers, want to see. Yeah, they're Xbox, because they're always going to do things from a corporate standpoint. They're going to do things in a committee of people who probably don't even play video games. I love Reggie Fils-Aimé. I love him. I think he's a guy that I want to. If I saw Reggie walking down the street, I'd want to high five him. I wouldn't need to have a conversation with him. I wouldn't need to sit down with him or take pictures or do anything. I feel like I would walk down the street and I would see him and I go, "Oh my God, Reggie Fils-Aimé!" I would put my hand up for a high five, have him high five it, and that would be it. That would be my favorite part of the day. But not for a second do I think that he plays video games. I don't think that at any point in his life right now does he come home, kick off his shoes, sit down on the couch and play Smash Brothers. I don't, because he's a businessman. If he does, that's awesome. I want to see it. But that probably means I'm watching him from his closet, and that just seems a little weird. But that is who makes a lot of these decisions. So I do question. I love when companies say, and I never know if they're being honest or not, because I suspect everybody of lying a little bit. But I like when they say, the Smash thing where they took the votes from the fans. I love that idea. I think that's direct feedback from the fans right into the game development itself, which we did talk about here. How fans are further and further influencing what happens in video game development. Yes, yeah, no. But now he's got to get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on his Nintendo 3DS. Yeah, at no point did I believe that he was going back to play Animal Crossing. Like, no, not at all. But those are the people that make these decisions. So they do it from a business standpoint. God, look at EA and all of their money decisions. Nobody on the board of decision making in the council of unlearned elders at EA plays video games, because there isn't a single person who thinks these microtransactions will make the game fantastic. I watched somebody talking about Fortnite. It was a video or something. It might have been that Ellen video where she played Fortnite with Ninja. And they were talking about the purchases, the things that you get. And I forget what it was. I think it was that. It might have been that video. And they were talking about how, oh, well, you know, you get these new skins and you get all the stuff. Like, and that gives you an advantage. Like, oh, hold on. There we go. And they're like, oh, that gives you an advantage. Like, no, it doesn't actually do anything. It's just for cosmetics. And the person who was talking said, oh, well, that's dumb. Like, why would you spend money and then it doesn't do anything? That person is clearly not a gamer, because gamers know that no one wants a video game where you pay to win. No one wants a video game where whoever has the biggest gun and the most ammunition and the strongest powers is the person with the largest credit card. Nobody wants that. You know, that's how you can tell gamers from non-gamers. And when I see decisions like that, they're non-gamers. Because, yeah, anybody who was a gamer and a decision maker at Blizzard would have said, listen, as a gamer, just announcing this mobile game to a bunch of PC players is not a good idea. It's really not. Yeah, no one on EA's board knows video games, no doubt about it. So yeah, I mean that's the whole Diablo. The Diablo Immortal thing is just, it's just a disaster. I feel like it's not an unrecoverable disaster, but immediately it has. I think it did damage to their stocks. Didn't it lower their stocks a bunch of points? Not to mention it would be unfair for some players who do not have as much. Yeah, that's why, Aqua. No real gamer likes the idea of pay to win, because real gamers know that not all gamers have that kind of money. Not all gamers even have the option to have that kind of money. Yeah, like 7 points or it's a 7% or 7 points. I don't know how the stock market works. That's why I'm poor. Was it Ninja the dude who does not stream with women because of rumors or something? Bruh, it is him. He says that he doesn't do it because he doesn't want there to be rumors. He doesn't like the idea of streaming. And he's not actually the first person I've ever heard that from. I still don't agree with it as a standpoint, but he's not the first person I heard that from. Like, they will limit how much of that stuff they do because they're married, and they don't want rumors to start building up, because that's how it is. That's immediately how it is. The second you start doing stuff with someone of the opposite sex, that's what people turn it into. Whether they're doing it as a joke or whether they're serious about it, that's immediately what they do. EA and Activision, part of Blizzard, want that. He doesn't stream with women out of respect of his wife. Yeah, so rumors won't flow. I get that. I completely understand it. Yeah, again, I don't agree with that as a practice. I think that as a practice, you should do whatever you want to do. If you know nothing's going on, excuse me, fans are going to talk. Excuse me. You know, fans are going to come up with something to say no matter what. So I think that I don't like it as a position, but I can understand the logic. And here's another thing that I always think about when it comes to stuff like this. When it comes to the Dr. Disrespect situation, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. For all you know, his wife, he had a conversation with his wife, and his wife said, I don't feel comfortable with it. You know, a lot of people will automatically attack Ninja and Dr. Disrespect for what happened there. And, well, for Dr. Disrespect, the whole issue was, is this really the public's business? For all you know, he had a conversation in the background with his wife, and she said, listen, as part of making it up to me is that you have to do this. You know, for all you know, Ninja had a conversation with his wife, and she said, you know what, I don't feel comfortable with it just because I don't feel like having to listen to the public tell me things. So if it's all right, and he said, okay. Can we not with Dr. Disrespect and Ninja? Yeah, we're just talking about what happened. Most mobile games are free to play, but they're also pay to win. Actually, yeah, Ace, that actually ties into everything very well. That is one of the reasons that people don't like mobile games here, is because they are pay to win. A lot of them are, I want to get past this level. All right, put in your credit card number. You know, so it doesn't seem like a respectable challenge for hardcore gamers. I almost said real gamers. For hardcore gamers, it doesn't seem like a respectable challenge. A lot of that actually stems back to the arcade days. When arcade games first came up, the idea was that you put in a quarter and you play the game as well as you can, and you see what score you can get. You go all the way up until you died. When they started adding the ability to put in another quarter and continue your game, a lot of the score-keeping type game players did not like that because as a challenge, it removes the challenge, and it now becomes who has more quarters, who can beat the game. Whoever can beat the game has the most quarters. So it removed the challenge. That's why even today with score challenges and stuff, they won't involve continues because it removes the challenge. You know, and for arcade games that was turning the challenge into pay to win. I had time to spend more money on Camilla and Tharsha. Even if I buy it, I'm really only renting it if I don't put more money in. Greg thinks arcade games are for real gamers.